Hello, Assalamualaikum again. So we're going to continue our chapter, which is on chapter 8. So we're going to continue on the Malaysian foreign policy. So this chapter is not many, so just around 20 chapters. So let's start 20 pages, okay, around that. Okay, so we're gonna talk about Malaysian foreign policy. So this is just for you to know, okay, what actually Malaysians are doing in terms of their own foreign policy towards the international relation. Okay, this is Minister of Foreign Affairs. So the main uh, minister that responsible to our foreign policy. So the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or Wisma Putra has it is a commonly known has been mandate to propose the nation foreign policy in accordance with the Federal Constitutions of Malaysia, with the objective of protecting, promoting the nation interests in the international level. So mainly focusing on our eastern, mainly focusing on Malaysian interests first. So they put Malaysian interests first. So if let's say the foreign policy are bound to bound to the federal constitution, so we are allowed that. Okay, so this is a historical development. So changes since 1947 to due the situations and political stewardship. So starting from the Tengku Abdul Rahman, formerly known as anti-communist, his pro-Western posture. So most of the foreign policy were pro-Western, so close link with Commonwealth, and it also uphold principle of non-alignment, neutralizations, and peaceful coexistence. Okay, next we move to Tun Abdul Razak. So he's a member, so joined the OIC, Organizations of Islamic Conference. So it identified as a Muslim nation. So also use NAM, Non-Aligned Movement, as an important organization, and then the investment from other than BC sources. And then Tun Hussein on focusing on the ASEAN cornerstone because uh, on his period. And then Tun Dr. Mahathir more focused on economic orientation, so strong nationalist defense of the right, interests, and aspirations of developed country. So it also advocates KC of South-South cooperation. So okay, the Malaysian foreign policy by different leader. Okay, so kita tengoklah. Okay, the various sector. So Prime Minister, Foreign Ministers, Minister involved in global issues, diplomat, consulate, and also official. So these are the actors in the foreign policy. Civil society, which is NGO, also play a big role in giving ideas, in shaping the foreign policy. Private sector, MNC, and IGOs, as well as the Malaysian representative in IGO also. Okay, so this is during to Dr. Mahathir premiership. So new initiative that being brought up. So akan Antarctica as a common heritage of mankind. So look East policy, dasar pandangan timur, reverse investment, EAC is Asia Economic Caucus, so Group 15. So ASEAN Mekong Basin Development, So it also, applied the Islamic unity, and he is a champion for the causes of developing country on major issue like environment, human rights, and also democracy. So Malaysian foreign policy principle uphold the principle of UN Charter. So fundamental principle governing interstate relationship, which are first sovereign equal and mutual respect for the territorial integrity. So mutual non-aggression, non-interference in each other internal affairs, peaceful settlement of dispute, mutual benefit in relationship, and the last will be the peaceful coexistence. Okay, non-interference policy. So it's a particular in the context of regional relation. So accept to the non-interference policy in certain extreme situation. For example, genocide, atrocities perpetrated apartheid by the Serb against the people of Kosovo. So we are play important role in Bosnia conflict. So Malaysia support NATO military action on that movement lah. Okay, other policy. So we can look at the other policy. For example, we have one China policy lah, one China policy. So this is other than Malaysian policy. So we just look at China. So China has one China policy. So which is pursuing close economic relation with Taiwan. So it is a relation between the West and also criticism on certain issue, but continued acceptance of Western countries as a market investment sources. Okay, what is one China policy? It's a policy of China. The one China policy is the acknowledgement that there is only one China government under the policy. So Taiwan is treated as a part of China that will join the mainland eventually. Any nation that wishes to build ties with China must stop acknowledging Taiwan as a separate entity. Isu China dengan Taiwan ni conflict until now still cannot be resolved. Okay, takes time. So bilateral Malaysian with Singapore. So Singapore are a good neighbor of us. So a lot of things that happen between Malaysia and Singapore. So if we are developing close bilateral relation with neighboring countries, a high priority. So issue overlapping territorial claim between Malaysia and Indonesia were referred to ICJ. And then we try to build a win-win formula. So bilateral relation with other country, with Israel, are exception. So we are not doing any bilateral agreement with the Israel territory lah. So this is the neighboring between Thailand, IMTGT. So increase effort tourism toward realizing the benefits of the growth triangle concept, namely the so IMS, we have the BIMP EGA also. Okay, we also strengthening ASEAN as a regional group. So we believe strong ASEAN is not only for economic but also a strategic imperative. ASEAN can provide the best security of the entire South Asia and East Asia region. So fostering habits of open dialogue on political and also security matter. For example, ASEAN Regional Forum. Okay. Then for example, the policy which is the ZOFAN, the Zone of Peace, Freedom and Neutrality, and also the Southeast Asian Nuclear Weapon Free Zone is a two main big treaty that were bound by Malaysians also. It is an important treaty to portray a peaceful Southeast Asia from other external threat and as well as the nuclear threats. So we do have multilateral policy. So we support UN dealing with global level optimal issues, peace and security, humanitarian activities, international crises, as well as cases of violations of the UN Charter and also principle of law. So on economic front, Malaysian foreign policy continue to adopt a proactive role in World Trade Organization. Okay, so we also active participation in the OIC, Commonwealth Nation, Non-Aligned Movement, as well as UN. So useful in promoting cooperation between member state finding, and also we try to find solution to global problem. We always use platform available to speak on global issue like human rights, environment, degradation, terrorism, refugee democracy, and the form of the UN Security Council. Okay, banyaklah orang kata peranan. Okay, peranan Malaysia. So this is our global lah. Globalization on Malaysian foreign policy. So Malaysian foreign policy try to get to good effect of globalization and finding ways of solving its challenges. Okay. So in terms of political in globalization era. So the end of Cold War, yet world today is no safer. Okay, so the so-called friendly global village has not came about. So all conflicts stay and new conflict emerge. For example, Bosnia, Kosovo, East Asia, Timur, apa ni? East Timor, Afghanistan, okay, Jammu Kashmir remain unsolved. So added with terrorism and proliferations of prolif- uh, proliferations of weapon of mass destruction, which bring forth the process of nuclear, chemical, and biological warfare. So meanwhile, so our political front, we support more ratification of the relevant of international convention such as NPT, Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, and we also adopt the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty (CTBT), Biological Weapon Conventions (BWC), Chemical Weapon Convention (CWC), and on the last will be the Conventions of Landmines. So we wanted to avoid all of these things coming through the South China Sea or Southeast Asia, especially affected us, you know. On economic front, we are disappointing development. So East Asia financial crisis collapse a lot of ASEAN, including Malaysia. So massive unemployment, negative growth, stock market crash, and serve currency devaluation. People pull down below property line. So this is the effect lah on economic fund during the case 1997, and now we are having the issues of coronavirus. So foreign policy letters covering including a map tracking the global outbreak and the daily podcast. Okay, so that's all for the chapter 8 and also the short chapter on the Malaysian foreign policy. So that's all for today, and we're gonna continue to the next chapter for the next video. Okay, terima kasih. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum.